My wife and my best friend thought they planned the perfect crime to take my money, but they didn't know I controlled the cameras. I'm a software engineer, and I always trusted my wife, Sarah, and my childhood best friend, Mark. They were the closest people to my life. Or so I thought. Last month, I noticed Sarah acting strange, always hiding her phone. Since I travel a lot for work, I decided to upgrade my home security system with hidden AI cameras. I thought I was just being paranoid. But 2 days ago, while sitting in a hotel room 500 miles away, my phone buzzed. A motion alert from my living room. I opened the live feed, and my heart stopped. It wasn't a burglar. It was Mark and Sarah, and they weren't just cheating. They were whispering about a plan to ruin my life. Subscribe for part 2 to hear the terrifying thing they plan to do to me.
I caught my wife and best friend on camera plotting to steal my entire life, and their plan was pure evil. As I watched the hidden camera feed, I listened to their conversation. Mark laughed and told Sarah, "Don't worry, once we file for divorce, we will take the house, his savings, and half of his business. He will have nothing left." Sarah smiled and replied, "I've already started copying his business files. He thinks I'm just cleaning his office." My hands were shaking with rage. The two people I loved most were destroying me behind my back. They thought they were geniuses. They thought they had the perfect plan. But they made one massive mistake. They forgot who built the system. I didn't confront them. I didn't call Sarah. I just downloaded the video, smiled, and called the best lawyer in the city. Subscribe for part 3 to see the ultimate revenge at the courtroom. The moment my cheating wife and ex-best friend realized they lost everything in front of the judge. 2 weeks later, we were in the courtroom. Sarah's lawyer stood up confidently, demanding the house, my savings, and my business, claiming I was neglectful. Sarah sat there, looking innocent, while Mark smiled from the back row. My lawyer calmly stood up and said, "Your Honor, we accept the divorce, but we present this evidence." He plugged in a flash drive. The video played on the giant screens. Sarah's face turned completely white. You could clearly hear them plotting to steal my business files and assets. The judge was furious. Not only did Sarah get absolutely $0 from the divorce, but the judge ordered a full investigation into Mark for corporate espionage. They came to destroy me, but they walked out ruined and facing jail time. Karma always collects its debts.
I downloaded a mysterious GPS app that only shows roads that don't exist. Until tonight, I am a 24-year-old male, and I work late shifts. Driving home at 3 a.m. through empty highways can get incredibly boring. Last week, I found a weird, unlisted navigation app on an online forum called Ghost Ride. The description promised to find shortcut routes that regular maps couldn't see. I thought it was just a cool indie open source project. Tonight, the heavy rain was pouring down, and traffic on the main road was completely blocked. Out of curiosity, I opened the Ghost Drive. The screen turned a dark violet color, and a metallic voice said, "New hidden path detected. Turn right into the dirt road." The road it pointed to wasn't on my car's official GPS. It looked like an abandoned, unlit trail, surrounded by thick black trees. But I wanted to get home, so I made the turn. As soon as my tires hit the mud, the main highway completely vanished behind me. There was only pitch black darkness. The app's map showed my car as a tiny white dot, and right behind me, a tiny red dot appeared. The metallic voice whispered through my car speakers, "Warning. Object approaching from behind. Do not look at your mirrors." My heart started racing. I glanced at my rearview mirror anyway. Through the heavy rain, I saw a single, glowing red headlight driving at full speed toward me. It wasn't a car. It was a massive, rusted, vintage motorcycle. But there was no rider on it. It was driving completely by itself, tearing through the mud. The app buzzed with a text notification. "Danger. It wants your coordinates. Speed up." I slammed my foot on the gas pedal, my car skidding violently through the narrow, twisting dirt road. The red light was getting closer and closer, blinding my eyes through the mirrors. The temperature inside my car dropped instantly, and the radio started playing a distorted, slow version of an old 1950s song. The screen of my phone began to glitch, and the map showed that the road ahead was ending into a complete cliff. The voice screamed, "Route complete, jump." In a state of pure panic, I closed my eyes and drove straight off the edge of the dark cliff. For a second, I felt the terrifying sensation of falling into nothingness. Then, a loud crash. I opened my eyes and found myself sitting in my car, parked right outside my own house. The rain had stopped, and the sun was beginning to rise. I breathed a massive sigh of relief, thinking it was all a vivid nightmare. But when I looked at my phone, the Ghost Drive app had deleted itself, and outside my car door, printed perfectly in the fresh mud, was a single, deep motorcycle tire track. If your map shows a hidden path, stay on the highway.
I kept checking my dead wife's smart home app until I saw someone changing the living room temperature. I am a 24-year-old male. 6 months ago, my wife Sarah passed away in a tragic car accident. Since then, I haven't been able to bring myself to visit our old countryside house, so I stayed at a small apartment in the city. To feel close to her, I kept her phone and used to log into our smart home security app every night. The house was completely empty, locked, and monitored by cameras. But last night at exactly 2 a.m., my phone buzzed with a notification from the app. It said, "Living room thermostat adjusted to 72 degrees." My heart dropped. I opened the app, thinking it was a system glitch, but then I saw the history log. Someone had just typed in her private pass. I immediately switched to the live camera feed of the living room. The room was dark, lit only by the pale moonlight coming through the windows. Nothing was moving. I breathed a sigh of relief, telling myself the smart system was just malfunctioning. But then, the thermostat screen in the background lit up again. I watched in absolute horror as the temperature numbers on the wall started changing rapidly. 70, 68, 65, 60 degrees. The room was freezing up. Suddenly, the motion sensor light in the hallway turned on. Someone was walking toward the living room. I stared at my phone screen, holding my breath, waiting to see a burglar. But what stepped into the camera's view wasn't a human. It was a tall, shadow-like figure, but it was wearing Sarah's favorite red winter coat. The entity walked slowly to the center of the room and stopped directly in front of the camera lens. It didn't have a face, just a dark void where her smile used to be. My hands began to shake violently. I wanted to close the app, but I couldn't move. Then, my phone vibrated again. A text message popped up from an unknown number. It read, "Why did you leave me alone in the cold? Kamal, come back home." That was my name. The shadow in the video slowly raised its arm and pointed its long, dark finger directly at the screen, as if it knew I was watching from miles away. I panicked, deleted the app, and threw my phone across the room. I didn't sleep a single wink that night. The next morning, I drove out to the countryside house with 2 police officers. When we arrived, the front door was still securely locked from the outside, and all windows were untouched. But when we stepped inside, the house was ice cold. We walked into the living room, and there, sitting neatly in the middle of the empty couch, was Sarah's red winter coat. It was soaking wet with cold water. The police found no signs of break-in or footprints. I sold the house the very next day, but every night since then, my smart TV in my new apartment turns on by itself at 2 a.m., showing a blank, freezing screen. Some doors should never be reopened.